Jade from Sweet Softies here. I'm excited to share with you my birth story today. I finally got a chance to basically get all these chores cranked out, and my little one is now sleeping. She has gone down for a nap, so now is my golden opportunity to share my story with you. I had my baby 2 weeks ago, and a little before that, I shared a video on reasons why we are choosing a home birth. Spoiler alert here, we did go through with a home birth, but I will have to say the whole experience was very crazy and dramatic and unplanned. So, the good news is that the baby and myself are healthy and happy, and everything turned out great. But let me go ahead and share my story with you. I'm going to start off with the morning of my baby's birth. At 10 a.m. I had my 39-week prenatal appointment at the birthing center I go to, and my midwife was doing my cervical check, and she noted that I was 3 centimeters dilated and that I've already lost my mucus plug, and there wasn't a membrane anymore. So in other words, baby was very ready to come, and she wouldn't be surprised if baby were to come in the next several days. So she did say that if I wanted to encourage labor, she had something called the midwife sprue that she could let me try out, and it's a concoction of castor oil, which I'll have to say I've heard some terrible things about castor oil, and I asked my midwife about the safety and efficacy of it, and she reassured me that it was fine, but I will say that if I were to go back in time, I would not take it again. Anyways, it was a blend of castor oil and lemon verbena, and what else? There was peanut butter for protein and some juice in there as well. Basically, we would mix all these things together into a smoothie and drink that. We would take all of that as one dose, and then a couple hours later, take a second dose of the same thing. Now, pumped up to get labor started, I went home with that concoction, and I ended up delaying it for several hours. I went back home and thought I would use the time to tidy up the house, get ready for the home birth. There was a lot of organizing and last minute things to take care of. So by the time I was ready to take the midwife sprue, it was around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I took the first dose. My midwife did warn me that it would not be a pleasant drink at all, and I think that was an understatement. It was the grossest thing I've ever tasted, and I had a hard time swallowing it. I took the first dose like a champ though, and didn't really feel much going on in the hours after, just a bit of cramping. But taking that amount of oil into even though it's blended into a smoothie, was pretty horrific. Anyhow, after the first dose, I proceeded to continue tidying around the house and get things ready. At around 4:15, I finally started to drink my second dose. I really tried to chug it down without throwing up because I already knew what it tasted like, and it was really hard to keep it down. But something about the second dose really kick-started labor. So after taking it and letting my stomach settle for a bit, I started feeling some pretty intense cramping, and my husband went to pick up my daughter from preschool as normal around 4:50, and around 4:58 was when I felt my first contraction, and it kind of went from just feeling some mild some cramping, getting progressively more intense, to suddenly getting that labor contraction. It was still tolerable. I used breathing techniques, and it really helped me to count my breaths. The first few contractions were fine. When things started to pick up a bit more and get closer together, I texted my midwife to let her know, and she recommended that I download a contractions counter app, which I did, and I started tracking it. And it was funny because after like 3 contractions, I got the message saying, you need to head to a hospital right now. And so it was about 5:15 when I felt like the cramping was the contractions were pretty intense. So I filled up the tub partway with some warm water, and that really helped me a lot with managing those contractions. I found that changes in temperature really helped, so I ended up pressing my cheek against like the cold countertop of my bathroom, and that really helped me. And then I would shift between that and then going into the warm water in the tub, which really helped as well. My husband, Jin, got home at around 5:35, and when he came to where I was upstairs in the master's bathroom, I was like in the tub and I was like, oh my gosh, my contractions are getting really intense. And he commented saying, wow, this happening way faster than the first time around. So he helped me by squeezing my hands, and we tried the counter pressure in the back. Didn't really go well. So we just alternated between squeezing hands and using the hot tub. While I was laboring away, my midwife was already in her car trying to get to our house. Unfortunately, it was that late afternoon time when everyone is going home from work. So she hit a bunch of traffic, and she called my phone, and my husband Jin put her on the line. And she basically was like, okay, Jin, you need to call 911 on your phone, get the medics here, because we were looking at an unassisted birth at that point. Good thing she gave us that advice, because Jen immediately put the medics on the phone, and at this point it was about 5:40, 5:45, and my contractions were getting so intense, and I could actually at around 5:45 I could feel the baby crowning, and I had gone into the pushing phase already. It was insane because I really didn't imagine labor to progress so fast. I felt like that immense pressure in my pelvic area. I knew she was going to be here very soon, and we had no professionals around us at all except on the line. So my husband, so Jin was like, okay, I need instructions on how to deliver the baby. And thank goodness we had my midwife Jody Lynn and the medics on the line. They basically coached him through catching the baby. My mind was so distracted with what was going on with my body that I wasn't tuning into the conversation on the phone at all. I was probably hearing things, but I was not listening and following along, wasn't processing, and just so focused on the sensations that I was going through, the physical sensations. So it was a blur for me, but what happened was Jen basically caught the baby as I pushed her out in 2 pushes. It was head and then her shoulders came out, and he said that she was incredibly slippery. And there was just a lot of fluid everywhere. Thank goodness we were in the tub, because that minimized the mess. But Jin caught her, saved her from crashing down into the tub, and quickly brought her up. Her umbilical cord was actually around her neck, so he was very quick in untangling that, and I heard the cry almost right away, and we were both so relieved at that point. Of course, there she was, completely covered in fluid and blood, and I just, once she was out, I just my knees got really weak, and I just had to sit down. I was feeling incredibly out of it at that point. I wouldn't say dizzy really, but I just mentally was very zoned out. very tuned out from everything going on. So it was 5:49 when baby was born, and Jin had her in his arms. He was holding her, and Jody Lynn, my midwife, said to put the baby on my chest, which he did right away. And I remember just holding the baby, like thinking, what had just happened? And the medics at that point got to our house, immediately came to attend to the baby, and someone was there to check my blood pressure and check my vitals. We were so grateful and so thankful that baby was okay. She actually had APGAR scores of 9.9, so we were just relieved that everything turned out fine for her. I was cleared by the medics, and my midwife came pretty soon after. When she had arrived, she helped me kind of get up from where I was sitting in the tub, clean myself off, kind of helped me transfer to the bed. From there, just was able to lay down and just hold baby for a little bit. Got checked over so many times. I did get a shot of Pitocin to kind of slow down my bleeding, and that helped a lot. I was actually in stable condition, but I think they wanted to give me a shot of Pitocin just in case. And I was feeling pretty good at that point. My midwife helped me take the baby, and she and Jen both washed the baby together so that we could clear her of all that gunk and blood from her body. She came out to be a pound heavier than my firstborn. She was 7 pounds and 20 inches, actually the same exact length as my firstborn. So that was pretty cool to see. But oh my goodness, like again, that was such a crazy experience for both my husband and myself, because we were not planning for an unassisted birth at all, and we had no idea labor would just go that quickly. It all happened in about 50 minutes from my first contraction to the baby's birth, and it still blows my mind just thinking about it. So with that, we welcomed our baby girl, Yumi Bell, into the world, and Jen and I are so excited. Big sister Lena Rose just loves her so much too. It's been great seeing Lena Rose become an older sibling. She is so much more independent now than at almost 4 years old than she was, just a year or even 2 years ago. And she's been just loving and helpful. And it's so great to finally complete our family. Thank you so much for listening to my birth story. As crazy as it was, I hope that you enjoyed getting to know what happened after I had posted about my plan to do a home birth. And even though it was totally unplanned the way it happened, and we didn't get to take any photos, we didn't get to really document any of it at all, which was honestly quite a bummer for me, because as my last birth, I really wanted to have some photos. But we're just honestly so grateful that everything turned out wonderfully, and baby's healthy. That's the most important piece. So definitely grateful for that. So until next time, bye!